Today, I am here to talk to you all about a nationwide issue. The first juvenile court was established in 1899 in Chicago, Illinois. Before this, anyone that committed a crime, no matter what age they were at the time of the offense, was tried under the same judicial system. Social changes started to occur, and people started to believe that juvenile offenders should be treated differently for their offenses. Due to this, the juvenile justice system was put in place. This system was to provide judgment for crimes committed by those who have not yet reached a legal age. Whereas the goals of criminal courts is to convict and punish, the goals of juvenile courts are to find a solution to the problem of juvenile delinquency. Recently, many states started implementing juvenile transfer laws, which allows children, some as young as 10, to be tried under the adult legal system. I have done extensive research and found an abundance of information on juvenile transfer laws and their detrimental effects. I am here to advocate for all juvenile offenders and tell you that although juveniles may commit crimes that are similar to those of adult crimes, they should not be punished as adults would be. Juveniles are not competent to stand trial like an adult. It is immoral to try them as adults, it is detrimental to try them as adults, and it is just wrong to try them as adults. In the criminal justice system, adults must be competent to stand trial in order to be prosecuted, whereas competency does not play a role in the juvenile justice system. It does play a very large role in the criminal system. Unfortunately, although adolescents may commit the same crimes as adults, they do not think like adults and are not emotionally or cognitively mature enough to understand the consequences to their actions. One research group designed a juvenile competency study to examine adolescents and how they differ from adults in their ability to participate in the adjudicative process. They found that 1/3 of 11 to 13-year-olds and 1/5 of 14 to 15-year-olds studied are probably not competent to stand trial. They found that adolescents have deficits in their knowledge of the judicial process, do not understand what a jury or a judge does, and are not able to put facts together and draw logical conclusions, are not able to think about future consequences of their actions, and have a hard time recognizing their rights under the law, even after they have been explained to them. We should not be trying juveniles in the adult system when they are clearly not capable of standing competent in trial. Sentencing juveniles under the adult system is also immoral and traumatizing. Juveniles sent through the adult system serve their sentences in adult prisons and become susceptible to rape and attacks by their adult roommates. Research shows that it counts children for 21% of the reported sexual assault cases within the adult prison system. Children are also 5 times more likely to be sexually or physically abused and 8 times more likely to commit suicide in adult prisons than a juvenile detention center. In the adult prison system, juveniles are also less likely to be able to access the appropriate health care, rehabilitation services, and other programs that they could if they were in the juvenile system. This means that when these youths are released back into the community, they have had no access to education or rehabilitative programs, so they are not equipped with the stability to survive in the real world, only from the scars from being on inside. Additionally, while the juvenile system hides youth criminal records for most organizations, the adult system makes the records public, which is very detrimental to a juvenile's future after prison. These records could keep them from getting jobs and from admissions to schools once released. Once these youths are struck with a record, they are forever stigmatized and have few opportunities to live a productive life. Juveniles should not be sent to the adult system because their records are not sealed, and this will cause them to lead a life of increased hardship when they are released. Many advocates for stronger responses to adolescent crime are aiming to have these offenders prosecuted as adults. They look at juvenile delinquency as adult delinquency in miniature form and argue that if juvenile offenders can commit the same type of crimes as adults, then we should punish them as such. Since children have not fully matured, though, they should not be held to the same standards of accountability as adults. After studying adolescents' brains, one group found that they are not fully developed until they are in their 20s. They found that the juveniles often may know and act as a crime, but they do not understand how severe their crime really is, and they often act irrationally and with emotion. This goes to show that juveniles should not be tried as an adult when their brains are fully developed like one. Many states enacted get tough policies to ensure juveniles received harsher punishments by being sent into the adult criminal justice system. Some people argue that by giving juveniles longer, harsher sentences, it will be a deterrent for future crime. What people don't realize is that the drastic increase in violent crimes among juveniles is often a reflection of a change in their culture. The influence of homes, schools, poverty, social disadvantages, and overall poor decision-making help lead to this increase. Since juveniles are predisposed to these conditions, transferring them to the adult system does not act as an effective deterrent. Richard Redding published an article which investigated juvenile transfer laws and their effect on future deterrence. He found that transferred juveniles are more likely to offend, and recidivism rates, especially those in violent offenders, increase. Punishment does not prevent crime, and this process is ineffective. While youths in the juvenile system go through reform programs, their peers serving time in adult prisons learn how to become hardened criminals. By putting juveniles in adult facilities, they are spending essential developmental years in prison with seasoned criminals instead of working on turning away from criminal careers. They are not being deterred from a life of future crime, but instead are being prepared for increased crime once released. The benefits of having the juvenile justice system far outweigh the cost. If we were to punish juveniles as adults, we would be making many mistakes. We would not be giving them the chance to rehabilitate in a proper manner. We would only be increasing their chance of reoffending, opening them up to a life of more abuse, and reducing future opportunities for them. We cannot force them into good behavior. We need to craft effective programs that force them to confront their misbehavior, be held accountable for their actions, and try to repair the damage they have caused. We need to provide them with the support, opportunity, and services they need to grow into happy, healthy, and economically self-sufficient adults.